More people?
Can you see that? If you change your gallery view in the upper right-hand corner.
I don't have that option for some reason. I do when I do my own Zooms.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You see, guys, anybody can do this business if I can do it. Hey, there you are. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I'll share with you my story. First of all, thanks for asking me, Jamie. It's just so crazy. You guys know how successful Jamie is. For her to say that, you know, she admires me or she's, you know, I've been influential. It's crazy because it's a huge compliment to me. And I'm going to like take that for like the next 6 months and tell people, Jamie Kenzie admires me.
Thank you.
So all of you know that you're on a great team with Jamie. And I just want you to know that, you know, the point that she's gotten to, really she could just kind of sit back and rest and, you know, love on you here and there and maybe do a conference call once a month. But she is so invested in you. And I had a long conversation with her recently, and she's so invested in your success. And really, it's all about your goals. And I want you to know that that's what she really says behind closed doors. So you're very blessed. So I'll give you my story. And the reason I want to share my story with you is because, one, that's what we do, right? We're paid storytellers. The story I share, if you're really new, obviously is not one I would tell a stranger. I mean, it's going to be the long version. It's not the quick elevator speech. But I also want you to hear it because I want you to listen for clues. I want you to listen for maybe some things that I say that might surprise you. In other words, ooh, I never thought about inviting someone like that into my business. Or, oh, I never thought that someone like that might be interested. Or maybe in my story, you'll also hear me talk about some lessons I've learned. So I'll first share my story, excuse me, and then I'm going to talk to you about this subject of acquiring customers, getting people on Juice Plus, because like Jamie said, it really comes down to that. You know, if you don't have a customer base, you don't have anything. And yes, we want to build teams, and yes, we want to reach people far and wide, and all that's true, but we have to start somewhere, which is getting people healthier, right? And if we can't do that effectively, how are we going to show our team how to do that effectively? And I will tell you, excuse me, I'm not sick actually. Thank goodness you're all Juice Plus people, because you'll believe me. I have this wheeze thing. I don't know where it's coming from. I got it last night too. So the other thing, before I share my story, to tell you sort of what we'll be talking about, is that when we look at acquiring customers, you will find, and you probably already have, that some people just, it's easier for them. So I will not lie to you. For some people, it is easier for them, but yet they're all doing the same activity. Okay, so I would be completely dishonest if I said to you, oh, no, it's not easier for so-and-so who has a huge following and who is outgoing and not afraid to talk to people, right? But at the same time, what we'll talk about is we all follow the same system. So even if you're someone who it's not necessarily easy for you and it's maybe even a challenge, you can still get the same results. I promise you. Okay? All right. So as far as my story, I've been with Juice Plus for 9 years. Raise your hand if you've been with this company less than a year. Maybe wave at me. Less than a year. Okay, less than 2 years. If you've been with less than 3 years. Okay. The reason I ask that is because, you know, someone very wise said to me, Jeff Roberti is what my upline. And he said, you know, don't decide whether or not this works for you for at least 3 to 5 years, right? Seriously, like don't make a decision for 3 to 5 years. Just stay in line and keep doing it for 3 to 5 years. And then we'll talk about whether or not this works. So I have been doing this 9 years. I wouldn't have been able to give you the same talk when I was at year 1, 2, or 3. But I'll be talking to you about activity that you do in years 1, 2, and 3, which is the same activity that I do now. So my story is that 9 years ago, someone was nice enough, a complete stranger, was nice enough and generous enough. Okay, there's a buzzword for you. In my story, there'll be different buzzwords. Generous, because that's what it means. When you share Juice Plus with people, you're generous. She was generous enough to tell me about Juice Plus and not keep it to herself. So when I tell people, by the way, how I heard about Juice Plus, I use the word generous. Why do you think I do that? I'm planting a seed so that if they're my customer, they'll find that sharing Juice Plus with others and referring to me as being generous, not salesy. If they become my distributor, they'll remember that I said that it's generous to share. Okay? So someone was generous enough to share Juice Plus with me 9 years ago. I was a complete stranger. She could have just kept it to herself. She could have never told me about it. She was healthy. She had a very successful Juice Plus business, but she cared enough about me as a human being to let me know it existed. So you see how I just shared with you that story right there. When I share that with people, I'm already teaching a prospect what we do. I'm teaching a prospect how we do it. But that's the truth. What I share with you is true. It's just the way I word it. So she was generous. She didn't make it about her, and she didn't keep it to herself. She also did not prejudge me. She just shared. And she said a few words that I'll never forget. And I teach my team this, and I use it all the time. I have no idea. I thought of you because, would you be open? I have no idea. I thought of you because would you be open? Whatever you fill in the rest is, Jamie will help you with. But I do find that those 3 phrases I tell people to just tattoo on their brains. So she said to me, I have no idea, Jill, if you'll be as excited about this as I was when I heard about it. But I thought of you because you're a busy working mom. You're in the health profession. And I'm wondering, would you be open to learning what I'm learning? Would you be open to hearing what I've been learning? Well, who's going to say no to that? No one is going to say no to that. Who's going to even admit that they're not open to that? No, I'm not open to learning anything. Nothing. Who would say that? So of course I said, well, yeah. I didn't know what she was talking about. She never mentioned Juice Plus. She's been learning information. She wants to know if I'm open to learning what she's learning. She is a physician. I had never met her before. Excuse me. And it was in a setting that, I'm surprised that she brought it up to me, but now I realize, boy, I would have done that too. I was sitting right next to her. She knew I was a mom. She knew I was a nurse. Why not? So the background that she didn't know, because there's so much that we don't know about people. We think we know. Just today I had an event, and you'll also find, as Jamie knows, I think I'm an unmedicated, undiagnosed ADD. I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive, but I'm like all over. So try to stay with me here. So while I'm telling you my story, I'm going to tell you another story. So when I said you never know, she didn't know my behind the scenes. We only see the highlight reel. Facebook, you meet people at the grocery, the highlight reel. How are you? Great. How are you? Great. How are you? Right? There's the whole behind the scenes that no one talks about. So I did the whole how are you? Great. How are you thing with her. What she didn't know, just like today at my event, I didn't know about somebody, is that I had this whole behind the scenes story of why I would have made a perfect Juice Plus customer and a great Juice Plus distributor. If she didn't dig and get to know me a little bit, she would have never found out that information. What she didn't know about me, I looked healthy. I was 9 years younger than I am now. I had a job that most people are proud of. I was a registered nurse, and I worked in a really cool setting, so I was kind of a cool nurse. It looked like I took care of myself. What she didn't know is I didn't take care of myself. I was extremely unhealthy. In fact, I think I was probably toxic because I lived on processed food, junk food, fast food all the time. I was skinny fat. I was the definition of skinny fat. I was the girl that ate whatever I wanted and didn't gain weight and actually thought I was healthy, which is a joke, right? What she didn't know is that I thought it was normal to have allergies and sinus infections, and I could go on and on. I won't focus too much on my product story, but basically I thought it was normal to not feel great. What she also didn't know is that I was a complete and utter jerk when it came to anything holistic. I thought all you people were weird. I was like, don't tell me about reading labels, you freaks. I'm not going to read a label. I'm not going to go to a chiropractor. I'm not eating tofu. Give me my Oreos and Big Macs and leave me alone. I was seriously like way out in, I was on the dark side for sure. I'm from a very medical family, not knocking that, but we were very, very tunnel vision. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because the behind the scenes made me a great product and business prospect, but what you saw up front didn't. So I was very skeptical of anyone that was involved in nutrition. I was always tired of people judging me and pointing their finger at me. I can't believe you're eating this. I can't believe you're eating that. And I was like, leave me alone, okay? I want to eat my junk in peace. Well, she didn't approach me that way. The way this person approached me was not prejudging me, even though she saw I had probably had hot Cheetos in one hand and an Oreo in the other. She didn't say a word, and she's a major foodie. What she said was, remember, I have no idea. This is what I thought of you. Would you be open? And so I was open because of that. I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel that she was pushing information on me. I felt very open. Okay. So behind the scenes, remember, I wasn't eating well. I was sick all the time. The other thing she didn't know is that it looked like I had a great job. I actually made really good money as a nurse. In nursing, you can do lots of different things. I had a pretty cool job. What she didn't know is I was miserable. I was miserable. I felt like, so I'm allergic to wool. And I tell people that when I went to work every day, I felt like I was wearing a wool suit 3 sizes too small. And there are people walking around in this country every day, your friends, people at church, people you know, who that's their behind the scenes and you don't even know it. They're walking around unhappy, dissatisfied, in debt, and wanting a change, and they don't even know that what you have exists. And it's an amazing solution. So remember my story when you start to hold back, okay? Because it looked great on the surface, and it really wasn't so great. So sort of in the reverse of that, as I said, I also seemed very judgy. I was like Judgy McJudgerson when it came to holistic people. But guess what? If you approached me the right way, I all of a sudden became very open, right? So when I took a look at the information, just like all of you, became obsessed, thought it was great, got started. So I've been doing this 9 years. And the other part of my story that I think is very relevant to what we're talking about is when you think about the highlight reel and the behind the scenes, let's look at Jamie or Karen or any of the other NMDs on here. You look at them or anyone who's where you want to be, and you only see that highlight reel. Remember, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of failure, there's a lot of lessons, there's a lot of personal growth, there's a lot of grit, there's a lot of elbow grease, there's a lot of stuff that you don't see. Okay, so part of my story is kind of funny. I'll share with you how I used to try to get customers. So when I heard about Juice Plus, I went from in the dark, head in the sand to, oh my gosh, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to judge them and save them at the same time. Like, you're killing your kids, you're killing yourselves, you need to change the way you eat, get rid of your Pop-Tarts, we're going to clean out your pantries. I mean, I was that girl. I actually wrote about this on my blog. I became that girl, the one that I can't stand. They say what you avoid is what you become. Oh, I became her. You guys, I probably got unfriended by everybody. I probably was hidden by 3,000 people. It says I have 3,000 Facebook friends. I probably have 5 that actually follow me at this point. Because in the first 6 months of my business, I did everything wrong. The only reason I got to sales coordinator in 6 months is because I have a big mouth and I talk to a lot of people, and there's something called the law of averages. Okay? So here's some ways that I tried to get customers. And most of you are not doing this, but there's one person on here that is. But every one of you has someone on your team who will do one of these things or more, and we can laugh about it, but look for it, and then put the fire out as fast as you can. Okay, so the first thing that I did in attracting customers that's just a no-no is I did the opposite of what Dr. Corson did. I came at people to convince them. I came at them to tell them what they needed. I came at them to shove my beliefs and opinions on them. Well, how do you think that worked? Not very well. Now, it comes from a good place. I didn't do it because I had to make money or had to get a promotion. I truly did want to help them. So there are people on your teams, or maybe a few of you, I don't know, who you feel like if you're doing it for a good reason, it's okay. Right? I don't intend to be pushy, and I don't intend to be obnoxious, and I don't intend to blast everybody on Facebook. I'm just really passionate about nutrition, right? It really doesn't matter. What matters is how it lands for people. That's what matters. How does it occur to other people? How do other people experience us? That's what matters. Now, believe me, I'm not in the whole I care what people think camp. But in a business like this, we do have to look at how do we occur? Are we experienced by people? So I was one of those people who was blasting Facebook. I mean, I was like long 8-paragraph rants, about the business and the product. And I mean, all of our studies and all of our research. And I got into email wars with people. I fought about the research. If anybody told me no or questioned me, I mean, they were on my hit list. I mean, I was coming after them, right? I also just talked people in and out of the sale. One time I talked so much, I actually, this is a true story, I actually watched a physician take his credit card out of his scrubs just based on what the other doctor was saying about Juice Plus because he was my customer. And by the time I shut my mouth, his credit card was back in his pocket and never came back out again. Never came back out because I just talked too much. I didn't ask any questions. I was like, hey, let me just tell you, it's thoroughly researchable. But he's like, dude, I just want fruits and vegetables. I mean, shut up, you know? Okay, so I talked too much. I pushed my agenda on people. I didn't meet people where they were. I was like, I cannot believe people don't get this. What is wrong with people? You know, I would even say that to myself and to people I knew, like, why don't people understand this? You know, I said in the talk that Jamie heard that it's kind of like if you tried to get me to do Taekwondo, I don't care what you say. I don't care how many Facebook posts you make. I don't care if it's going to save my life. I don't care if it's going to give me the best butt in the world. I'm not doing it. I'm never doing Taekwondo. I'm never doing Tai Chi. I don't care. I'm never eating tofu. I'm just not doing it. So what I was doing was telling everybody what they had to do and what they should do. But it came from a good place, so it was okay. It's not okay. I didn't meet anybody where they were, ever. All right, I'm glad I'm entertaining for you, Todd. So, the other thing about acquiring customers that you don't want to do, and I get that most of you are not doing any of this. You know, some of this is just comic relief for you. But you will have distributors who will do this, okay? And you have to have conversations with them early on about what not to do. The other thing was a lot of us make it about us when we think we're making it about them. So here's an example. I am going to say, or one of our team members is going to say, you know what, I haven't said anything to John and Sally and Sue and Mary because blank, fill in the blank. Like they've come up with a reason why they're not going to share the product with them or why they're not going to share Complete when they're on the Trio. Because I don't want them to think this, because I don't want them to think that, because they're already eating so well, they probably won't think that they need this. They eat so horribly and they smoke and they don't exercise, they would never want to do what we do, right? So when we do that, we think we're protecting people. Has anyone ever had a team member like that, where they put a barricade around people and they're trying to protect these people, but really what's happening is, and I did this, that's why I'm able to talk about it, because this was me. We're actually making it about us. 100% about us. We're not making it about other people. When we prejudge the prospect, or we prejudge or decide for our existing customer that they're not going to want to upgrade and buy the Tower Garden and the shakes and the bars and the gummies and the Trio, we don't tell them about all that because we're worried about their budget. You know, they're an adult. They can handle their own budget, right? We just need to let them know what's available and not make it about us. What I found, and I don't know if you have found this, but what I found was that every time I thought I was protecting people, I was protecting myself. Every time I thought I was protecting their pocketbook, or I was protecting their privacy, or I was protecting whatever, I was honestly making it all about me. I was worried what they would think, and I was worried what they might say. And it took me a long time to figure that out. And as soon as I was able to, and this is what we'll talk about tonight, make it 100% about them. When in doubt, focus out. Focus on their needs 100% and not on my own ego and not on my thoughts on my head and not on what I call head trash, right? Those negative, stinking thinking thoughts that we all think. Once I stopped doing that, then I was really serving people. Okay, so another piece of this conversation about acquiring customers is what I call the secret sauce. I mean, we get really caught up, and I understand, so there's no judgment here. And what do I say? Like, I want to hear Jamie's words exactly, and I just want to repeat them because I want to have success. So just tell me, what do you say to people? And I bet you she'd say, well, I have a couple of things I always say, but it depends on the person in the middle. The middle, right? So if you look at an Oreo, I like Oreos, don't tell anybody. So the top and the bottom will always be the same, let's say. But the stuff in the middle is going to change, right? So I call it like a skeleton. You're going to have some anchors that never change. I thought of you because, I have no idea, right? But the middle part changes. So that's where I think we get nervous, at least for me. Like, what do you say in the middle? This is, I can't claim this to be mine. I would love to be the star of the show and you take all the credit. But unfortunately, I have to be honest and tell you that this did not come from me, but from my friend Michelle Ball. A few years ago, I went to Canada, and I actually got to be the speaker for their very first regional they ever had, before they were famous. And I heard her say something I have never heard in the Juice Plus world, ever, ever. And now I totally claim it as my own. My husband says, once you say something 3 times, it's yours. So this is totally mine. But anyway, Michelle Ball, if you don't know her, follow her on Facebook. She said, the answer to your jitters, the answer to your nerves, the answer to your anxiety, the answer to what are they going to think, the answer to what do I say, the answer to all that is just to speak the truth, to literally wear your heart on your sleeve and to say what you're feeling. Excuse me. So I started teaching that to my team. And our team is big on that. And I mean, literally, like, tell them you're going to pee your pants. like literally say, let's say I'm talking to Sue. And whether it's about Juice Plus or it's about whatever it is, you know those nerves that come up. I get them too. If you say something like this, if I say to Sue, okay, Sue, so here's the thing. And I learned this part from Brene Brown. Has anyone read any Brene Brown? Amazing. So have you noticed how she says the story I'm telling myself is? That's what I say now to people. I'll say, Sue, there's something I am dying to share with you, but I have to be completely honest with you. The story I'm telling myself is that you're going to think that I'm like trying to sell you stuff or that I'm, whatever I'm feeling. What does that do? That's the vulnerability and the authenticity. So vulnerability and authenticity are always hanging around together for a reason, right? You can't have one without the other. When you have them together, it's so powerful. And so this whole world is craving that. Real. We're craving real and we're craving vulnerable. What's the difference? Being vulnerable means being open, being willing to be embarrassed, being willing to turn red, being willing to get that nervous feeling, being willing to look bad. One of the biggest fears we have in life is the fear of looking bad, honestly. The fear of looking bad, the fear of making a mistake. Seriously, like opening yourself up and saying, okay, fine. Okay, here I go. Literally just being open. Authentic is just being real and honest. Okay, real and honest. So when you're real and honest and you're vulnerable, oh man, baby, you are a magnet for people. People want that. I always say to people, when I used to get compliments on my trainings suck, to tell you the truth. But you know why people liked me? Because I was real. When I trained on the main stage in Dallas, I got to be honest with you guys, I don't think I'm one of the best trainers. The content is but the reason people kept, and I'm not bragging here, but people come up to me and say, oh my God, that's the best training. Oh, I figured it out. It's because I was saying what other people weren't saying. I was just being real and honest and vulnerable. That's just how I am. So when we teach our distributors to not be afraid of that and not walk away from it, one, I am telling you guys, it is the secret sauce. I promise you. There aren't very many things I can promise. I promise you that it's the secret ingredient for you. If you are willing to be vulnerable and authentic, wear your heart on your sleeve. Now let's be clear for a second. I got to have a disclaimer. That's not being a blubbering, this is so hard for me. I haven't gotten any orders in 8 months and I don't know what to say. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. When we say vulnerable and authentic, it's like saying, okay, Amber's like, Amber, okay, there's something I really want to share with you, but to tell you the truth or to be totally honest with you or, to be totally real with you, I am like sweating bullets. And I know this is silly because there's no reason for me to be sweating bullets. You're my friend. This is crazy, but I am. And I want to tell you about something so badly. Every time I hear a training, I think about you. Every time I go to an event, I think about you. And I realized I have not been sharing this with you because I have this stupid story in my head. And I decided I'm not going to believe it anymore. So even if you never order Juice Plus, even if you never join my team, I want to go to bed at night knowing that I got over and I had 20 seconds of courage and I said this to you. At the very least, you'll feel complimented. I swear I say that to people. That's how I got my last 5 distributors. That is exactly what I said. I am now the master. The master. I'm not the master of many things. I tell you what, I have gotten really good at something. And I'm not so good at a lot of things, I swear. But one thing I've gotten good at is messaging people with my voice, okay, and saying what I just said to a cold person, inviting them into my business. I know we're talking about customers, but I just have to share that with you. I swear to you, they don't always say yes. I've gotten some flat out no's, but you guess what, you guys? Every time you do it, you get better at it, you get more confident, and you're like, that didn't hurt that much. Boom, I'm going to do that again. Now, some people in our business have been doing that long before me. Maybe I just figured it out. But I have brought on 4 frontline, 4, 5, 6 in the last couple months. And I'm telling you what, every one of them, I said what I just said. I know you're going to say, repeat it. It doesn't have to be word for word. It was, I have no idea. I'm super nervous. I keep telling myself this ridiculous story. I'm not going to hold back. Amber, you are exactly the kind of person I would love to work with. And I have no clue if you'd even want to do this. Who knows? You might be horrible at it. I don't know. But I want to just ask you because I'm not going to do something. I'm not going to ask my team to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. And if you're new, you could say, I'm not going to teach people to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. And why am I so afraid to invite you to do something amazing with me? I don't get it. So just play along with me here. If the worst that will happen is that you say no, thank you, but you feel complimented and I can go to bed going, wow, I did a good job. I mean, seriously, if you go out and say that to 50 people, you'll probably have 25 distributors. If you go out and say that to 50 people about the product, you'll probably have 50 customers. I don't know if that's helping you, but I truly feel like it has taken me 9 years. Don't let my 9 years be in vain, please. It's taken me 9 years to figure this out. And it's just about being real. And if you get nervous about it, role play. Maybe get on Voxer. Kelsey and Anna can get on Voxer tomorrow and say, all right, we're going to role play a little bit here. And just see what it feels like to talk like this. It will feel weird. You know why? Because nobody talks like this. Because we're also worried about what everybody thinks. If we just opened up a little bit and just cracked that shell open, I am telling you, I personally feel like people will flock to us. I said to Jamie, I feel like the most affection and the most emotion people get nowadays is with emojis. You know, it's like, oh, I heart you, you know, smiley face. I mean, we don't talk to each other, let alone tell people how we feel. What if your friend heard you say, you know, what if Todd said to somebody, you know what, I have always admired you. I have always thought you were the coolest person, and I have no idea if you'd ever want to work with me, but I know I've got a great gig going. I mean, there's no question about that, but I want to work with people like you. So 2 things are going to happen. Either you're going to say yes, or you're going to say no. If you say no, at least I asked you, and I can say, well, at least I asked. And hopefully you'll feel like, wow, someone said that they admire me. The thing I said today at our luncheon was, I said, this is why I invited you. I said what I just said to you guys, and then I said this. If you don't do this, I admire you so much that I want you to see what I'm up to and what I'm about and what I'm doing so that the vetting process is through you. That you basically get, you know what I'm saying? You vet people for me. So that if you would share this with somebody, if you say they're great, I think they're great. So if I just tell you what I'm up to, even if you never do it, if you know someone in your life who does want this, just because you say they're great, I'm going to think they're great. Does that make sense? So I'm telling the person that there's no pressure. I want to get over my nerves. I want you to know how awesome you are. I want you to feel good about that. And if you don't ever end up doing this with me, at least you'll know that you're great. You'll know that I had 20 seconds of courage and I did something that most people aren't doing with you, which is telling you you're awesome. And if there's someone you know tomorrow or in a year who wants what I have, you know what it is, and you know what I'm looking for, because look in the mirror. I'm looking for people like you. You're the kind of person I'm looking for. And I know I kind of digress. We were talking about customers, but I can't help but talk about team too, because it's the same sort of thing. So I hope that's been helpful. I guess I'll just review really quick. So making it about them and not about us, really making sure we're meeting people where they are, making sure that we are very, very careful and selective how we show up on social media, extremely careful and selective about that. Making sure that we think about how are other people experiencing us? How are we landing for other people? How are we occurring? Okay? Not being paranoid about what people think, but really thinking, am I sharing a message and making sure I'm meeting people where they are, or am I blasting people? And then the last thing is the secret sauce. Vulnerability and authenticity. Open up. Be okay with failing. Be okay with looking bad. Be okay with looking stupid. Be okay with, who cares? We have one life to live. Well, and I know every person sitting here could say what I'm about to say because it's so cliche, but I always say things are cliche for a reason, because they're true. We get one life. One life. I just on Facebook tonight, my friend's nephew, 30 years old with a 2-year-old, just died of a massive heart attack, like that. My aunt just died 48 hours ago, like that, right in front of my mother. I mean, there are so many things happening, and we have such a gift with what we have. And so I'm going to challenge you, and I don't say this in a judgy way, like, why aren't you doing anything, right? I'm really going to challenge myself as well. I have come to a point after 9 years, as Jamie said, of ups and downs and self-discovery and going through a divorce and then blending a family. I mean, I've got a story. And one thing I've realized in the last couple of months is, I will be honest with you, I'm not all about the everyday #hustle. That's not me. I mean, Lauren Slocum's a good friend of mine. I will never be doing that. You're not going to find me flying 8 places a month. It's just not going to happen. So hustle every day, not for me. But guess what? I'm not going to play small anymore. So in my own schedule and on my own terms, I'm going to play big. So you can play big, but still on your own terms. Okay? I wrote something on I have a Facebook. Can I promote that a little bit? I have a blog called Shifting Quickly, and I don't make any money from this at all. The reason I'm promoting it is I feel like there's some things that might help you. So I have a Facebook page called Shifting Quickly, which is where I do little things. Anyway, I wrote on there, and a Juice Plus distributor who I've never met commented, and she said, I was talking about levels of commitment. And she's like, well, how do you be at a level 5 all the time? I'm like, you don't. Nobody can be at a level 5, which is do whatever it takes all the time. That whole hustle all the time. No. But what I have found is, as I said, I can still play big in the hours I set for this business. And so here's what I'm going to challenge you with. And I'm challenging myself at the same time. When I say play big, that's not go get 50 customers. That's not go get 10 distributors. That is not what I'm talking about. That's hustle. Nothing wrong with it. I'd like a few of you to hustle. But if we're being real, playing big is the vulnerability, not holding back anymore, and saying, what if the company said, everybody right now who's a senior sales coordinator and down, let's say sales coordinator, VF, dealer, and DD, all those people in our company, we can't explain why, but in 6 months, you have 6 months to reach national marketing director, and we're closing down the position. We have 6 months to reach it, and then we love you and you'll be a part of the business, but you will never again offer the benefits. We will never again do the NMD speeches. We'll never do that again, and whatever reason you can make up. I'm not saying you should rush to NMD in 6 months. What I'm saying is, if you only had 6 months, I bet you anything you'd be playing different than you're playing right now. And I'm saying that to myself too. I bet you all of us would be playing a different game if we only had 6 months. We would stop the self-talk, and we would not spend as much time analyzing and overanalyzing. Why did they say no? And blah, 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 blah. We would just go out and have another event. We'd just go out and have another conversation. there are people so much more successful than me that figured that out in their first year. People that made NMD in a year, it's like, really? What planet are you from? You know, it's awesome, but I told you I would be real. That's not normal. I mean, you guys have one on your team, and I like this. It's amazing, but let's just be real. Do not compare yourself and say, I'm not successful if I don't do that. Okay? So when we talk about the whole 6-month thing, just challenge yourself to just play a little bigger. Have grace. Don't judge yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. But kick yourself in the butt a little bit too. Let's say we talked about Anna and Kelsey getting on Voxer and doing the role playing. You know, hold each other accountable. You know, give each other a high five. Kick the other one in the butt every now and then. But have some grace with yourselves too, and say, you know, you're doing great. This is not easy. I know we're over time, but I just want to close with this. I feel like the reason this business is hard. Okay? I know, oh my God, she said it's hard. I'm not supposed to say that. It is hard. It's a complete baloney to say this isn't hard. Okay? It's not impossible, but it's hard. But you want to know why it's hard? It's hard because you have to take yourself on. You have to look in the mirror and see your blind spots, and they are ugly. But you also have to look in the mirror and see your gifts. So in the process of reaching National Marketing Director, which is not the end-all be-all, okay? I'm not the kind of person that's going to say, everybody needs to be an NMD. You know what? It's wonderful and amazing, and a lot of people will do it. But how will that make you feel if you're a sales coordinator for 10 years? You're successful. If you're doing this and having fun, you're successful. If you are enjoying yourself and you're having fun and you're growing, you have made it, okay? But when you look at really getting where you want to be, wherever that is, the only reason it's hard is because you and I have to take ourselves on, see our blind spots, which are impossible to see without help. That's why Jamie recommends image. You know, whatever you use, you need someone else to show you those blind spots. It's like seeing the back of your head. You can't see it, okay? And in that process, you know what the blessing is? You discover your gifts. You discover things about yourself that are wonderful that you didn't even know existed. But you will never see them without looking at your blind spots too and giving yourself some grace in the process.
Can we just mic drop right now? Right? I know I'm getting text like, can I have this? Are you recording it? So obviously you guys, Jill was gracious enough to say yes, that I could record this tonight.
Even though I'm in my house coat.
I'm in my Christmas jammies. So
okay, talk about being vulnerable. Look, you see those red splotches? See, that's me nervous.
I love it. I love it. Like it is so real. And you took almost what Dr. Corson, right, taught you with, you know, I have no idea. I thought of you because would you be open? And you've blended in Brene Brown. Like you just like mixed those two things together and put in there, you know, this, you know, I've been wanting to share this with you, but the story I'm telling myself is that you think I'm just selling you, and, you know, it's all about the sale and not about the relationship. And then transitioning in, you know, would you be open? I love that. And so I know so many people are going to listen to this over and over again, so that they can get really good at making what you shared their own. And I would highly recommend, because I've been going onto YouTube and searching for Brene Brown, and I've been watching a lot of her just videos and talks and interviews. And I don't know if there's one in particular you recommend over another, or one book that you recommend over another, because she's got a series of 3 that kind of all fit really well together. Is it Rising Strong or Daring Greatly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all great, but I don't know. They're all great. Yeah. I don't know. Daring Greatly too, but this is one of them.
Yeah.
Daring Greatly is amazing. I like audible.com.
Yeah.
You know, so you can just listen to that in your car, even if you get 5 minutes a day. It's amazing.
It is. It is. So thank you for taking your time, and thank you for those who got on tonight. You guys were completely blessed. And I look forward to see, you know, what difference it makes. And actually, I would really love for you guys to follow Jill on Shifting Quickly, because it's a really great blog. And show her some love on there for serving us tonight, and then share with us, how this month closes. Maybe because of something she said tonight that gave you the ability to have 20 seconds of courage. All right, you guys.
Yeah, I will tell you that would be the biggest gift I could receive. If one of you do have a conversation like that, even if it doesn't get the result that you're looking for, which is a yes, but if you have a breakthrough, will you please message me and tell me? I would love to hear about that.
Yay. All right.
Thanks, you guys.